I want to take a few minutes and talk about ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. I want to talk to ICE officers in particular right now. For those ICE officers that really have a problem with what you're doing, you feel like your job is not what it was promised. I get it. I understand, I really do. It's really hard to find a job that pays well and takes care of you. I know for at least the last 20 years, my income has not equaled the cost of living. And government benefits are the best. You just can't get better benefits than when you're a government employee. And to be honest, ICE officers get paid a lot. They get paid exceedingly well for what they do. In fact, I would even say they get paid more than what they're worth. So I get it. So I'm not going to ask you to quit your job. I don't have the right to do that. And to be honest, for the money you're getting paid and the benefits you're getting, it might be worth it to you to stay there. But if you really have a problem with what you're doing, may I suggest, see, you may be a division of law enforcement, but you understand that you're breaking the law. You can turn in your coworkers to the state district attorneys in the areas where you're posted. You could also give a heads up to the protest movements in your area. Let them know where you're going to be doing raids and have the protesters meet you there. When one of your coworkers, I don't know, shoots pepper balls at a priest, you can turn them over to local law enforcement and have them arrested. When one of your coworkers, I don't know, does a high-speed chase in a school zone and damages thousands of dollars in property, you can turn them over to the law enforcement in the district that you're operating. Now for the other ones, I haven't addressed the rest of you yet. For the ones that are the true believers, who believe that there is no law against murdering immigrants or sexually assaulting immigrants, for you guys, you need to understand qualified immunity is up to the discretion of the prosecutor handling your case. Qualified immunity is not guaranteed. If a state's district attorney decides they're going to prosecute you, they have the choice on whether or not they wish to apply qualified immunity. And if you're being prosecuted by a state prosecutor, the president can't pardon you. And all of that stuff notwithstanding, I, for myself, will be one of the most vocal people in attempting to not repeat the mistakes of the past. One of the biggest reasons we are where we are now is because we allowed the Daughters of the Confederacy to rewrite history. We never held any of the top people in the Confederacy to account for what they did. We never held them accountable. We never punished them. This is better than Money in the Bank. I will do everything I can as a resident of the United States to hold you accountable for all the laws you're breaking now. And you can argue with me about, oh, they're illegal, they broke the law. Your investigation tactics tell me without doubt you have no idea if they're illegal. You don't even know if they're immigrants. Now, you can lie about it and say, oh yeah, we know they're immigrants. But you don't. I'm not asking you to admit it to the rest of the universe. I want you to be honest with yourself. You don't even fucking know if they're immigrants, let alone illegal immigrants. 2, you don't know what an illegal immigrant is. You've never been briefed on what the proper immigration process is. So, you can't tell the difference between an illegal immigrant and a documented immigrant and a immigrant who's here legally, because you simply don't know. And again, I'm not asking you to admit it to the rest of the world, but just a little bit of self-awareness and understand that not only don't you know, you're never going to bother to find out. And we go back to 3 things. Yes, I know that Pam Bondi said that the fact that they exist is probable cause. I understand that. That's not what the law says. Which means that you're breaking the law. Get prosecuted by a state prosecutor, you don't have qualified immunity. The president cannot pardon you. And I also understand that Pam Bondi has made it clear to you that there will be no consequences for your actions. She can't speak for the state prosecutors. If the state prosecutors decide to prosecute you, there is no qualified immunity. There is no presidential pardon. And I hope not, but if you're in a stand your ground state, you break into somebody's house and they kill you, they're perfectly within their rights. So, yeah, those same gun laws that you think American residents don't have, yeah, if they legally own a gun and they reside in a stand your ground state and you break down their door and they kill you, they can't be prosecuted. I want you to understand that. And moving on from that, now I want to talk to the state district attorneys, the state attorneys generals, and the bar associations. The bar associations have the right to look at what Pam Bondi is doing and disbar her. If she gets barred in every state plus the District of Columbia, she cannot hold the office of Attorney General. She has to be licensed by the American Bar. So, American Bar Association, if you decide to revoke Attorney General Bondi's bar license, she cannot be the Attorney General. I think that's a really good way to handle part of the problem. Also, for the state's attorneys generals, I'm sorry, let's say that grammatically correctly. For the state's attorneys general, you can prosecute the ICE officers. You can hold them to account. You don't have to wait for the midterm elections. You don't have to wait for the next presidential election. You're prosecuting them at a state level. There's no presidential pardons. Whether or not qualified immunity applies is entirely up to your discretion. You're allowed to say no, ICE officers don't have qualified immunity, and prosecute them. Put it to a jury trial. I guarantee you there's more than enough evidence to convict at least half of them that you prosecute. And if we prosecute, say, 10% of them, how much you want to bet Trump will back off? Because he keeps proving it. President Trump is a coward. You stand up to him, he'll back down. And now to the protesters. None of this means anything unless you vigorously document. Ask for a warrant, politely and respectfully. Ask for a warrant multiple times. And when they fail to produce a warrant, start calling them liars to their face. When an ICE officer attacks you, call the local police and file charges. Go to one of these, like the ACLU or Southern Poverty Law Center, and join these class action suits. Sue them both criminally for assault and battery, and sue them for assault and battery civilly. They dinged up your car in a car chase? Take them to civil court. Sue them. Make the federal government pay. Now, you'll have an easier time if you sue them criminally, too. Now, of course, this also depends on the state's attorneys general. Since Republicans don't have any ethics, we can guarantee that the Republicans' attorneys general won't prosecute. Well, for the most part. I want to back off of that statement, actually. The Attorney General in Texas won't prosecute. The Attorney General in Florida won't prosecute. The Attorney General in Mississippi and Alabama won't prosecute. Tennessee might. You might have a few Republican attorneys general that prosecute. Most of them won't. But do it anyway. Charge them criminally. Get the documents in. Because sooner or later, this will be over. And we don't have to wait until the midterms to end it. We can end it now. And again, speaking specifically to the protesters, ask them for their ID. Ask them to identify their department. Ask them for a warrant. Do it respectfully. Be nice. Do it multiple times. After the third or fourth time they refuse to produce a warrant, they refuse to produce ID, call them liars. Do not engage with them physically. When they engage with you physically, press charges locally. Criminal charges. It is within your rights to do that. Whether your state's attorney general pursues those charges or not. You have the right to do that. Do it. If it happens and keeps happening and happens over and over, it happens often enough, they will leave of their own volition. They're not there because they want to be. They're there because they're getting paid. Make it not worth the cost. Trap them in your state. The vast majority of ICE officers come from out of state. The reason for that is so that they can ship them out of state when they get into legal trouble. Make sure they get into legal trouble. Every state in the country has a extradition law. Your state's attorneys general can extradite those ICE officers back as long as they've got the documentation. Make it not worth ICE's while to do their job. And this will end a lot sooner than you think it will. And again, speaking strictly to the ICE officers that are on board with this, you've never met a fucking immigrant in your entire fucking life. You really don't even know what an immigrant is. You've got no clue if an immigrant is illegal. You've got no clue if they're here legally. You've got no clue if they're undocumented. And more importantly, you don't want to know how you can find out. The only reason you're doing this is because you're a bully. My boss fired me, so now I have to kill an immigrant. World's smallest violin. I don't want to hear it. There's something wrong with you. And therapy's not going to fix it. You want to make people suffer the way you're making them suffer? You're doing it because you enjoy it. And if somebody did that to you, oh my God, it's the end of the universe. Cowards. That's right, I called you cowards. Going back to the state attorneys general now. Charge Tom Homan and Kristi Noem. They gave them permission to break the law, which means that they broke the law. You can charge them criminally. Is it going to work? I don't know. But say 20 states charge Kristi Noem and Tom Homan criminally. Say they get convictions in 8. It's a state level prosecution. They can't be pardoned. And even if they are pardoned, remind them when they take the pardon that they're pleading guilty. But again, they can't get a presidential pardon. It's a state level prosecution. You might not be able to get them in jail, but who cares? Give them severe jail sentences anyway. Give them a reason to stay out of your state. And not just Kristi Noem and Tom Homan, but the other top guys. The unnamed people that are the area directors. The regional district directors for ICE. Prosecute them criminally. Will you be able to convict them? I don't know. Who knows if they're going to get convicted or not. But charges in 10 states, they're going to back down. Why? Because President Trump is a coward. I don't know, just food for thought. Think about it, maybe. All right, that's it for this video.